Welcome to the Wind Up with Will, everyone. I'm your host, Will, here with another episode. And today we're going to go through the NHL and NBA playoffs, my picks for the playoffs, and who I think is going to be the champion in both leagues. Now, I know I'm behind on this. The first round and the NBA and NHL playoffs is almost over. So I apologize for, again, being late to this video or having this video out. But I'm still going to go through my picks and I'll also tell you how the playoff series actually have gone, and sometimes contrary to my picks. So we're going to go ahead and start with the NHL, the Eastern Conference in the NHL, and the first round. I have the Toronto Maple Leafs beating the Ottawa Senators. Toronto is just a better team; they have more talent. Then I've got Florida having an upset. Florida Panthers upsetting the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, Florida is the defending Stanley Cup champions. They won it last year. 2 years ago, they were in the finals against the Golden Knights. They've just been a battle-tested team. They have gone on some long runs the last few years. I just think that they're the better team and have maybe more experience than a Tampa team that is retooled maybe a little bit. But also Tampa has some experience as well. But Florida has been the hot team. They've been the team that's just been battle tested more recently the past few playoffs. So I'm picking Florida to win that series. The Washington Capitals, I have them beating the Montreal Canadiens. The Capitals were the President's Trophy winners in the NHL this season. They had the most points of anyone. They were I think that they were. Let me double check that. Pretty sure that they were. Now, I'm incorrect in that. I am incorrect. Scratch the last 10 seconds. They were in the running. I should say they were in the running for the President's Trophy. They didn't win it. They didn't end up with the most points this season. They ended up with the most points in the Eastern Conference. So I misspoke on that. I gave you incorrect information. But they've been one of the best teams in the NHL this season, which is a complete turnaround from where they were last year. Alex Ovechkin, he looks phenomenal. He looks like one of the best players again in hockey. Just passed Wayne Gretzky's goal record for most goals in a career, like this past month. Just phenomenal career for him, and he's had an outstanding season this season, and he's a part of the reason that they're where they are. Why they've been so good is because he has once again been one of the elite goal scorers this season. And perhaps some of it is him just focused in on getting to that goal record of I'm so close to Gretzky's goal record. So he was able to beat Gretzky's goal record, and he's been a huge reason of the Capitals' success this season. And they've just been a phenomenal team all year. But I have them beating the Montreal Canadiens, who just kind of snuck in with the last playoff spot in the East. And then the last playoff series, I have the Hurricanes beating the Devils. Again, the Devils didn't make the playoffs last season after making it 2 years ago. They've got some good young talent. They got kind of hot in the second half of the season to make the playoffs. But the Hurricanes just have more experience. They have a more experienced coach. They have more experienced players. They have made it to the second round I think every season of the last 6 seasons or something like that. So I'm picking them to get back to the second round again. I'm having them beat the Devils, who are a little more inexperienced or they have some younger players. The conference semifinals in the East, I have the Toronto Maple Leafs upsetting the Florida Panthers, even though they're the higher seed. The Florida Panthers are the defending champions. Toronto has not made the Eastern Conference Finals in who knows how long. They went almost, I think, 20 years or something without winning a playoff series till a few years ago. And I think this year they're going to get not just past the first round, but they're getting past the second round. They're going to go to at least the conference finals. They're going to upset Florida. And then the other conference semifinal series, I have the Washington Capitals beating the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes just can't seem to get past the second round for whatever reason. They can make the playoffs, they can get to the second round, and they just struggle with whoever they face, whether it's the Rangers or someone else. They just always seem to, I wouldn't say choke, but just it's like an obstacle in their path of they get here every year and they just can't get past it. And the Capitals have been phenomenal this season. I'm picking them to go to the conference finals. And we've got a great conference finals matchup with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Washington Capitals. I'm picking Toronto. I just feel like this is their year. They've gone forever without winning a title. They've gone forever without playing in the Stanley Cup. I'm picking them to go to the Stanley Cup out of the East. The Toronto Maple Leafs are your Eastern Conference champions. And let's go over to the West. In the West, in the first round, I have the Winnipeg Jets over the St. Louis Blues. The Blues kind of snuck in at the end, and the Jets, they're the real President's Trophy winners. They had the most points this season of any team in the NHL. They had the best goaltender in Connor Halbachuk. Just phenomenal season, and he is a huge reason of why they're there. He will probably get MVP votes because of how good he's been. They're just a phenomenal team, and St. Louis just kind of snuck in at the end to make. I think they were the last seed. Yeah, they were the last seed, the last team to make the playoffs in the East, or I'm sorry, in the West. I'm picking Winnipeg to win that series. They're the better team. Um, the other series, I'm picking the Colorado Avalanche over the Dallas Stars. It's an upset, so 3-2. Excuse me. I think Colorado has better talent with like Nathan McKinnon. They're and Cal McCarr, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I think they're the better team. I'm picking them to win. They won the Stanley Cup several years ago. I'm picking them to advance from the first round. I'm picking the Las Vegas Golden Knights to beat the Minnesota Wild. Again, seem to have a little more playoff experience. They won it 2 years ago. I'm picking them to advance. And then I'm picking the Edmonton Oilers over the Los Angeles Kings. I think this is a great series, a great matchup. There's some history here. Many years ago, the Oilers traded Wayne Gretzky to the Kings and kind of made the Kings into a popular team and a successful team in a lot of ways. So there's some history between these two teams. You like to see these teams match up. But I'm picking Edmonton to win it. They went to the Stanley Cup Finals last year. They have two of the best players in the league, and Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. I'm picking them to go to the finals again, or go. I'm sorry. I'm picking them to go on a run again. Um, I think they're going to beat LA in the conference semifinals. I have the Winnipeg Jets over the Colorado Avalanche. I think Helbachuk is just going to carry the Jets far into this playoffs. And then I have the Edmonton Oilers over the Las Vegas Golden Knights. I think the Oilers are good enough to make a run again to the finals, possibly. So I have them going far. And then in the Western Conference Finals, I have the Edmonton Oilers over the Winnipeg Jets. They're going back. It was a Freudian slip earlier. I do have them going back to the Stanley Cup Finals. We're going to have an all Canada Stanley Cup, first time in forever. And finally, for the first time since I believe '93, we will have a Canadian team lift the Stanley Cup. It's incredible that it's been that long. But that's the way I think it's going to go. The Maple Leafs, who've not won in forever, they haven't won since I think '67. I have them in the finals, and the Oilers, who haven't won since I believe the early it might be 1990 was the last time they won. I have them in the finals. We haven't had a Canadian champion since '93. I think we're gonna have a first in a while for someone here. So I'm picking the Edmonton Oilers to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs in the finals, get Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl their first Stanley Cup win. And I'm picking the Conn Smythe as Connor McDavid. He's the best player in the league, and I think he's going to rise to the occasion in the playoffs and be a huge reason of why the Oilers get back there and why they will win this year. Again, as I said earlier, the playoffs have already started. That we're pretty much through the first round, and so since that, I'm going to go back and tell you how the playoffs have gone so far. Um, and I'll do it the way I did it by conference first instead of doing how ESPN has it laid out. But we're going to do the Eastern Conference. The Maple Leafs lead the Senators 3-2. Florida has won their series 4-1 over the Lightning. And you can say, well, you picked the team that already won. Well, yes, I did. But I would have picked Florida, but even without knowing how the series went. They're the defending Stanley Cup champions. I'm not going to pick them to go out in the first round, even though I probably would have said it would have went 7 games instead of Florida winning 4-1. Washington has won their series 4-1 over the Canadians, and Carolina's won their series 4-1 over the Devils. And you might be going, Will, you're just picking the winners. Well, hold on a second. When we get to the NBA, you're going to see I did not pick the winners. So, just simmer down. And I'm probably going to be wrong on some other picks in the NHL as well and the NBA. In the West, in the Western Conference, Winnipeg leads the Blues 3-2. Dallas actually leads the Avalanche 3-2. The Golden Knights lead the Minnesota Wild 3-2, and the Oilers lead the Kings 3-2. So I have a chance to be wrong in the Western Conference with the Avalanche possibly losing to the Stars. So let's see. Yeah, we're gonna move on over to the NBA now. We're gonna move over to the NBA playoffs and my predictions for that league and their Finals MVP. So we're gonna start in the Eastern Conference with the NBA. In round one, I have the Cavs over the Heat. The Heat, are just not the same team without Jimmy Butler. It's a little bit of a good season for them to make it into the playoffs, make it through the crazy play-in round, which I'm not even going to cover in this because it's a little confusing and it's a little too much to discuss and go into who I would pick. I've never really cared for the play-in round or tournament or whatever they want to call it. I'm not a fan of that. It should just be 1 through 8 in each conference, and I can discuss in another video some changes I would make to the playoff format, but that's a video for another time. So in the first round, I have the Cavs over the Heat. It's like I said, it's a little bit of a miracle that the Heat made the playoffs with losing Jimmy Butler in the season. Just all of the locker room issues that they had with him. And the Cavs have just been phenomenal this year with Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. They are a great team. And surprising to me that they were the 1 seed this year. I would not have picked them to be the 1 seed. But I have them beating the Heat. I have the Milwaukee Bucks beating the Indiana Pacers. And I have the New York Knicks over the Detroit Pistons. That's my New York Knicks. I should have really put my Knicks shirt on, but I had already had my Mets shirt on, so it's blue and orange. It's the same colors, So go Knicks. They play tonight. Hopefully we can close out the series. We're up 3-2 at the moment. Hoping we can close it out. And then also I have in the first round I have the Celtics over the Magic. The Celtics, defending NBA champions, it's going to be hard to have them eliminated in the first round or so. Then the conference semifinals of the East, I have the Cavs over the Bucks, and then I unfortunately have the Boston Celtics over my Knicks. The Knicks have just not shown the ability to really beat the Cavs or the Celtics this year, so it's hard for me to pick the Knicks to even make the conference finals when the two best teams in the East have just beat up on my Knicks this season. So I'm picking the Celtics and Cavs to face off in the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm picking the Boston Celtics to, even though it's shocking to say this, upset the Cleveland Cavaliers, just because it's shocking to have to say that it's an upset. They're the defending NBA champions, but they're the 2 seed. The Cavs are the 1 seed in the East. I think the Celtics I think they're the better team. They're more battle hardened. They won the NBA Finals last year. Jason Tatum is, I think, a pretty underrated NBA superstar at this point. I mean, he's the best player on the Celtics. They went to the finals last year and won it. And if it was LeBron, you'd be hearing a lot more about it. You feel like you know it more. Or if it was another NBA star, you might hear it more. But it just seems like you just don't hear him talked about a whole lot. So I think he's kind of an under the radar superstar. So I have the Celtics winning the Eastern Conference. Over in the Western Conference, I had the Thunder beating the Grizzlies. As much as I would want the Grizzlies to go on an upset run, they've just had such a horrible second half of the season. They fired Taylor Jenkins right before the season ended, which is kind of a crazy thing to me. I mean, he's been there for quite a few years at this point and has done a pretty good job with them. And there has to be some issue going on behind the scenes that was in the locker room or something. I don't know. But it's kind of shocking that you would fire a good coach like Taylor Jenkins, especially when you've had success with and had some good seasons with. And the West was very good this year. Like I think it was like seeds 3 through 8 were all separated by like a handful of games, maybe. So like the middle to kind of bottom teams in the playoffs in the West are all pretty similar. So to me, it kind of seems like there must have been something going on behind the scenes. I don't know, but it'd be hard pressed for the Grizzlies to beat the Thunder. The Thunder are the number one overall seed in the NBA playoffs. They've been phenomenal all year. They won. How many games did they win? Let me go look at this. They won 68 games. They were 68-14 on the year. Shea Gilgis Alexander has been phenomenal. A lot of people think he could be MVP. My brother is one of them. He thinks he should be MVP. Um, it's just hard to pick against a team that's been that good all year, and to think a Grizzlies team that kind of backed their way into the playoffs would be able to beat them. So I would pick the Thunder over the Grizzlies. Also in the first round, I'm picking the Nuggets over the Clippers. Jokic, I think, is one of the best players in the league, if not the best player in the league. It's hard to pick against him. The Clippers, they have talent. They're obviously a good team, but I just think the Nuggets have the better talent. They have the better player. They have the best player in the league, and Jokic. Whether you think he should be MVP this year or you think Shea Gilgeous Alexander should be MVP, Jokic is the best player in the NBA. Just looking at his stats and what he's done over the last several years, he is the best player. Just because he didn't have the best season compared to other players or wasn't as valuable as some other players doesn't mean he's not the best player. I mean that's my opinion, and if you have a different opinion, you're entitled to that opinion of who you think is the best player currently. But I think Jokic is the best player. I would. It's hard for me to pick against him. And it was also surprising that the Nuggets fired their head coach before the regular season ended. He was the reason they won the NBA Finals a few years ago. He was the I'm sorry, he was the coach on the team that won the finals a few years ago. He wasn't necessarily the entire reason. I mean, they have Jokic and some other great players. But to me, it was just kind of surprising that I feel like something was maybe going on in their locker room as well, or issues there behind the scenes. But again, I would pick the Nuggets over the Clippers. Also, I would pick the Lakers over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Having Luca on the same court with LeBron, two of the best players. And I know LeBron is a lot older now, and he's not the player he was 10 years ago. I think he's 40 now. Still a great player, and Luca is one of the top 5 players in the league. Picking the Lakers over the Timberwolves is easy. It's a slam dunk pick, and some of you are probably chuckling at this right now. But we're going to come back. We'll come back to it. We'll come back to why you're laughing. And then the Rockets and Warriors is the other first round series. I'm picking the Rockets over the Warriors. The Warriors they're just an older team. The Rockets are a younger team. They have more talent. I was actually surprised that the Rockets were the 2 seed this year, that they were that good to be the 2 seed. But over 82 games, if you're the 2 seed, especially in the West, you got to be pretty good. So I'm picking them over the Warriors. In the conference semifinals, I picked the Thunder over the Nuggets. Again, as much as, and this will be a terrific series when or if it does happen. Um, the two guys who are the front runner for MVP, or the front runners for MVP, and discussed of who should be MVP going against each other, I think that'll be a phenomenal series. But I'm picking the Thunder. They've been the best team all year. It's hard to pick against them. And then I'd pick the Lakers over the Rockets. They have the experience and greatness of LeBron as well as the young greatness of Luca. I would pick the Lakers over the Rockets, and that gets us the conference finals of Thunder and Lakers. And I'm picking the Thunder over the Lakers as much as people want Luca and LeBron to get another title and Luca to get his first. I think the Thunder have been the better team all year. I'm picking them to win and go to the NBA Finals. And that sets up the NBA Finals between the Celtics and the Thunder. I picked the Celtics over the Thunder. They won it last year. I think they're going to do it again this year. It's hard to pick against such a good team as the Celtics. Um, The Thunder, I think, are really good, and I think it could be a great series. It could go 7 games, but I'm picking the Celtics. I think it'll be a phenomenal NBA Finals if those are the two teams. And the Finals MVP I'm picking is Jason Tatum. He's their best player, so I'm picking him to win MVP, best player for the Celtics. And we're going to come back to how the playoffs have actually gone so far in the first round, and why some of you were probably laughing at some of my picks, because this is what I had in my head before the playoffs actually started. So in the East, the Cavs did sweep the Heat 4-0. The Pacers won their series 4-1 over the Bucks. That's why some of you were laughing. I would not have imagined the Pacers to beat the Bucks and Giannis, but they did. The Knicks currently lead the Pistons 3-2. Game 6 is tonight. I'm hoping my Knicks can close it out. And the Celtics won their series 4-1 over the Magic. Over in the Western Conference, the Thunder swept the Grizzlies. Ja got injured and missed, I believe, Game 3, and then he didn't play in Game 4, and it was too much. It was too much for him to overcome, and I was hoping that they could win a game or two and make it kind of a series, but the Thunder were just the better team. I am a Grizzlies fan. I don't know if you can see it, but I got my Ja Morant poster over there. So I am a Knicks fan, but I'm a Grizzlies fan as well because of Ja. But yeah, the Thunder were the better team. The Nuggets are currently lead the Clippers 3-2 in their series. Minnesota shocked the world by beating the Los Angeles Lakers 4-1 in their series against them. I think that's a phenomenal upset. If you're a Timberwolves fan and probably an NBA fan as well, you probably don't like the Lakers. I was shocked that happened. I'm not a huge Lakers fan, so I don't have any love lost that they are out of the playoffs. But I would not have expected that. I was expecting the Lakers to at least make the conference finals. That was a shocking series there. And then the Golden State Warriors currently lead the Rockets 3-2 in their series. It looks like their just playoff experience has paid off a little more compared to some of the Rockets' young players. But that's all I have for this video. It's gone on long enough. If you like what you see, give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, ring that little bell, whatever, the bell. Well, if you want to hit the bell, hit it. I don't care. Comment down below your thoughts on this video. Who do you think is going to win the Stanley Cup? Who do you think is going to win the NBA Finals? Are my picks right? Let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.